And Mr. Barnes?
I destroyed nothing. What was $6,500 that was destroyed? Yeah.
Mr. Barnes, if you address her directly again, I can already tell you guys don't get along. All right, this is file 221696 SC, small claims. Parties are both here. I cannot see you there, Ken, but I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand the same way Ms. Paulson's going to raise her right hand. Anyone else preparing to testify that any testimony you give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Yes.
So I do have a different file here. So you guys were in landlord-tenant, right?
Yep.
You are no longer residing anywhere where you would have a landlord-tenant relationship, right?
No.
Correct.
So this is mostly about stuff. So I'll start with you, Ms. Paulson. You have here a demand for $6,500, and I don't have any more information than that. What is the nature of your claim?
Damaged property. And I sent a bunch of pictures in that were supposed to be attached to the file.
Well, and they might have been in your other file. You had a claim in front of Judge Scotchless. That case is closed.
Yes.
This is a new file.
When I filed this and talked to the lady upstairs there, she said that they would be attached to it.
Well, I think they included the file here for me. I'm going to tell you guys right now, it sounds like you're going to cancel each other out. So in other words, what was the nature of the relationship when all this came about? You were residing together in what capacity?
As boyfriend and girlfriend.
All right.
She got kicked out of her house, and I told her she could move in with me with some stipulations.
All right.
And she didn't file.
Here's the problem. You're telling me that you had $6,500 worth of stuff damaged, and he's telling me that you have $6,500 worth of stuff you owe him. So
I don't owe him anything because he lost his counterclaim because he did not show up for court.
Ma'am, that's an entirely different case. He has a counterclaim filed here.
I was not aware of that.
All right. What it looks like is that you both are just going to sit here and, I mean, to very little avail, point fingers and say, well, you know, such and such was mine and he didn't give it back, and such was hers and she didn't give it back. And that you both have enormous amounts of money you say is due each other. And I could sit here and 2 hours from now say, okay, you owe him $65 worth of stuff and he owes you $6,500 worth of stuff.
Mine's well over $6,500 though.
And so is mine.
Well,
I'm just dealing with what I've got.
The maximum you can claim in small claims.
Because the rest of it I'm dealing with the insurance company with.
Okay.
Oh, so you're filing a fraudulent claim?
It's not a fraudulent.
Well, you guys are not to address each other. So here's my problem. You're going to tell me you swear under oath it's all true, and
yeah.
He either kept this stuff or broke the stuff or didn't give it back to you, right?
He returned it, but it was destroyed, and I had officers with me.
And Mr. Barnes?
I destroyed nothing. What was $6,500 that was destroyed? Yeah.
Mr. Barnes, if you address her directly again, I can already tell you guys don't get along. So it's not really going to do us any good for you two to talk to each other. So I'll ask questions and you can answer them. Or if you want to say something to me, that's fine. Say, can I say something? And I'll certainly let you. So Mr. Barnes, you're going to swear under oath that she either, borrowed things without repaying or stole things from you that are worth $6,500?
Yes.
All right. So I'll give you both an opportunity. Ms. Paulson.
Yes.
How is it that I'm going to believe you and then not believe him and award you money and not award him a counterclaim? You tell me why.
Because where's his proof that I stole anything from him?
Ma'am, where's your proof that you owned something that you don't now own?
I have pictures of the stuff that was picked up, and I had officers with me, and I have a witness here.
Yes, but ma'am, you have things like, I own 7 dream catchers. I only got 4 back.
No, I'm talking my bed, my furniture. He took stuff that belonged to my dead mother and didn't return.
How long were you guys together?
For almost 4 years.
And how much rent did you pay him when you were staying there?
I only lived with him for like 30 days, if that. And I took his daughter back and forth to school every day and to her doctor's appointments without any reimbursement from Mr. Barney.
Did you have any sort of contract or agreement you were supposed to be reimbursed for doing anything like that?
Well, normally when you do stuff for people, they, you know, I mean, if somebody was to take my child to the doctor, I would give them gas money. I
When you
wouldn't
lived
accept.
together?
We weren't living together at that time. I'd done it for 3 years before I moved in with him.
All right. And then, sir, you haven't.
Can I say something to you about that?
Pay you rent and didn't pay you rent.
He never
pay
told
rent
me.
or not,
He never said anything about rent.
ma'am.
He
I'm
never-
addressing him.
Oh, I'm
not
sorry.
you. Sir, you have here that she had unpaid rent.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Before she moved in, she said that she would pay rent and half the bills, and she wouldn't put nothing, sign nothing that I wrote up. And I was leery about letting her move in, but she was in a pinch because she was getting thrown out of the place she was in, and it was winter time. So I said, "You can move in."
All right. And how long did she live with you?
She started moving her stuff in November. It was end of February. The beginning of February, I kicked her out because of drug activity in my house and just the disrespect to my daughter. I told her
And,
that
ma'am, I see
she
you
can
have
tell she.
pictures here of the bed. Do you have anything to show that the bed was in different condition than this before you moved it?
Yes, I do.
And what was that?
I sent that picture in too. The
No,
before,
ma'am,
and
I'm looking
after
at your pictures.
the before and after pictures. I did
Oh.
send in.
Ma'am, I don't see a single picture of the bed that doesn't show some sort of state of either
With
disassembly or distress to the
with
bed.
a green blanket on it with a bear on it. There should be a picture of that.
Well, ma'am,
Right.
but that doesn't show us whether or not these marks under the covers were there or not there, or a
Oh,
result
you're
of
talking
moving
about
back
the
and forth.
mattress. You're talking
Yeah.
about the mattress? Yes, I thought I sent those in before.
So, ma'am, did you pay any rent or half the bills while you either had stuff there or staying there?
No, I moved in there in the middle of December. And I was out of there by sometime in January.
But when
I-
did you have
we-
stuff stored there? That's what
Uh,
counts as you being
December-
domiciled there.
December when I moved in. I
Okay.
had to clean things out before I could move stuff in.
All right, and did you pay anything?
Just taking his daughter back and forth, and we had sat down and discussed, and he never wrote anything up. And I asked him what it was
Well,
gonna
ma'am,
cost.
you just said that you can't believe that somebody wouldn't offer to reimburse you gas money when you're driving their daughter around. And in the same breath, you're gonna say you don't expect that someone that allows you to move in the middle of winter, move all your stuff in, expects any contribution to the
No,
household.
I'm not
bills?
saying that. I'm saying that nothing was ever agreed upon. I had
Okay.
asked him, and the only thing that came out of his mouth was, "You're not going to be paying what you're paying now where you're living."
But do you see what I'm talking about how I'm sure you could list things all day long that you think are grievances against him for property. Do you think this property still exists and is just sitting at his house?
The stuff that I did not get back, yes, I do.
Weren't you
the
said,
stuff
didn't
that
you say
I-
you were there with officers?
Yes, I was. Officer Newberry, Officer
Why would
Wilkes,
you leave without the rest of your property?
because he would not allow me in the house. So it was what he put outside.
All right, so
I
what did Judge
wasn't even
Scotchless
allowed-
do
I wasn't
when you
even
went
allowed
back to court and
that.
said you didn't receive all of your items?
That when I went back to court and said I didn't receive all my items, the judge said that we're not here about that. We're here about his counterclaim. He did not show up, and I was told pretty much to file for small claims.
All right, so here's my problem. You say you're still missing or broke $6,500. What's the most expensive thing you didn't get back or was broken?
Well, my furniture, all my
What do you
furniture.
mean by that, ma'am?
My
I'm
request-
talking about, give me the biggest ticket item off your list of $6,500.
Well, I paid $5,000 for my bed.
All right, the bed that's returned to you.
Yeah, that's busted. You can't use.
And how did it get busted? Do you
I don't know. It was setting outside. This stuff was all setting outside. I was not
right.
even allowed
Mr.
to put
Barnes,
in
do you know how the
driveway.
bed got broken? Mr.
The
Barney.
bed was not broken. It was taken apart just the way it was brought into my house and set outside in her pile of
ma'am,
stuff.
the bed
There was
looks
nothing
huge. It's not
broken.
like you're gonna take it out the door assembled, right?
Right.
All right. So Mr. Barney says he didn't do it, and you can't prove he did it. So
Well,
how am I supposed to pay you for that?
I do have messages where he said him and his friends moved my stuff outside.
And
Because-
he's agreeing to that, but he doesn't agree that they broke your stuff moving it outside.
So before and after pictures don't matter.
Ma'am, you had to move this bed, right?
Yes, and I took pictures before it even left his yard with the officers right there.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I have no indication the bed wasn't harmed either when you disassembled it and moved it to his place, while it was at his place while you were staying there, or when it had to be disassembled to get it out of the house and then for you to take it again.
All right, well then
Tell me where in that timeline we can prove what happened to the bed.
that there was nothing wrong with it. I was able to sleep in it while I was there, and now I'm not.
That's your testimony, ma'am. And the testimony here today from Mr. Barney is they didn't do anything wrong to the bed. It was just disassembled and in the same shape essentially it always was.
And then I had a brand new TV that sat in his living room, destroyed.
Okay. What do you mean destroyed?
The pictures are there. The screen's just smashed, and that was seen by the officer before it left the yard.
Okay, you have the officer here to testify, then.
No, I did not bring the officers.
I see a remote control that doesn't have batteries in it.
Yep, and a TV that was broken, a
I
75
don't
inch
see a
TV.
picture of a TV, ma'am.
I sent the pictures in.
Okay, well, I don't have them. Here's what I do have. Requests from you saying that now what it is you would like to be compensated for $3,000 for driving the child back and forth.
Yeah, that's not part of the small claims court.
What is it?
That was, no.
You sending an email to district court saying,
Yeah.
I would like to also be compensated for taking his daughter for 3 years back and forth to school and doctor's appointments and soccer practice.
Yes. That was for the district court judge because
And
I
that's
thought.
what I mean is, you requesting $3,000 to drive around the daughter of the person who is your boyfriend, and you live in, essentially, that just goes to show me how much you guys are just making claims because you're mad at each other.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. I mean, I was
Well,
homeless
let me
for
ask
6
you
months.
just a fresh question. Do you consider that to be a legitimate request? That he should
About,
pay you nowadays, that he should pay you now $3,000 per year.
not per year.
Okay, but I'm reading what you wrote. Back and forth to school and counseling and the doctor. Gave me gas money only one time, and that was it. He bought the car for you, but you did all the maintenance, tires, battery, and oil changes. Cost you $3,000 a year. And you moved things in storage, right?
I had stuff in storage, stuff that he didn't want brought down to his house.
All right. So how much of the $6,500 was the bed?
To replace it, used $2,500.
All right. So you got $4,000. What else is missing?
Like I said, then my TV that's destroyed.
How much was that?
I looked it up today, $800, and I had it for a couple months before I moved in there.
Okay. But still about less than half, so keep going.
And then I got 2 dressers back with 3 drawers missing. My couch was all cut up. My recliner is beyond repair.
And you're telling
And I
me, you're
still-
saying
I-
these things were in good shape before, and
Yes,
then they were, all right.
yes, and I still.
Your
have
Honor,
Well, that's a
stuff-
criminal complaint, man. You need to make a criminal complaint if you think these things are maliciously being damaged.
Well, I'm working on that. But this is what I was told to do.
All right.
Your Honor,
And then, yeah,
the couch, they tore when they brought it in the house, and she was livid about them rushing it into the house and ripped it.
who's they?
Her son and a friend of hers.
And that's not on the way out of living with you. That's on the way in with living with you?
Correct.
Ms.
Correct.
Paulson, do you recall that at all?
The pictures that I have got have cuts all over. You can tell it was done with a knife, that it was slashed.
There was no
all
All
cut.
right, but ma'am, no, Mr. Barnes, you're doing it. You're mad at what she said and you want to talk to her. Just let me talk to her.
Yeah.
Ms. Paulson, do you recall? an
Yes, there
incident
was
where-
a small tear in the upper cushion, and that's it. That's the only thing that was tore.
Okay.
The rest of
Well,
it was not.
Well,
And I'm
keep
not
going.
asking for a whole bunch of money on a couch.
Well, that's why I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to get to where you got your, you're at 3,300. And I need you to tell me what else. you
And
think
all
was-
of my clothes, I got none of my clothes back. None of them. I had a pair of leggings, sweatpants, whatever you want to call them, slippers, a t-shirt, and a sweatshirt. The rest of my clothes, except for what was at his house, was in the vehicle that he came and took while I was living in it. Including my dog
Who's-
bed,
But if,
my
no,
bank
but see,
card.
here's what I mean is a whole separate thing. So now we're talking about something different. You had possessions in a car you were living in, but it was his car, so he came and took the car.
Yes. And I had
All right.
asked him to just let me get the stuff out of the car, and he said, you'll get it when I feel you can.
Mr. Barnes, I can't imagine you want a bunch of ladies' clothes.
I don't have, there was nothing in that car. She was staying with a friend of hers down the road. And I asked her repeatedly about my car. She wouldn't give it back. I came home. I drove down there. I parked my Jeep, got in my car, and left. She contacted me the next day and said that she had a bunch of stuff in the car.
Ma'am, is this around May of this year?
Yeah, in fact, the same night that he took the car, I got a ride to the police department and talked to an officer about it. It
But I
wasn't
mean,
the
what I
next
mean
day.
is, here's a separate and independent letter from Allen County Community Mental Health that said they were aware that you were living in the car, but didn't talk about possessions of the car. It just said you had blankets, pillow, and food, and dog bed and dog food.
Yes, that's from
Where's all these other possessions?
that's from the project-based program lady that wrote that. That's when I was living in the vehicle.
Sure, but where's all the things you're talking about, all your entire
My
wardrobe?
clothes,
Yeah.
my clothes, they were in the car. My
All right.
clothes.
See, that's what I
my-
mean, is I have to look at third-party descriptors who don't have a dog in the fight. The third-party descriptor says, you look like you had bedding there and you had dog stuff there in your car. But in other words, at some point in time, you recognized or acknowledged this as his car, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's the one, I was paying insurance on it. He's the one that
Well-
said I could keep driving it, and we were still talking to one another and hanging out even after I was not living with him.
How did he physically get the car back?
Came and got it.
From where?
I was at a friend's house and he came and got it while I was upstairs. I had a set of keys, he had a set of keys.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. All right, so you got all the clothing. What else?
My driver's license was in there, my social security card was in there, my bank card was in there. Titles to my,
Yeah, but ma'am, I can't put a dollar amount on those for
I
damages.
understand
because
that.
It's
I
a pain in the butt to recover all that stuff,
yeah.
but it doesn't
And I
really have a
had
damages
$500
number on
worth
it.
of cash in there. I had just gotten my check. I had $500 in
Ma'am,
cash.
if
with
essentially he
enhanced room.
stole cash from you, you didn't make a police report?
Yes, I went down and talked to the police. And pretty much
Oh.
was told that it's his car.
Well, put it this way, your possessions in his car would be sort of default. It's kind of like, if you don't pay for your storage unit, the owner of the storage unit can kind of take all your stuff and just get rid of it. But that would only be because he had told you in advance, it's my car, I want it back, quit using it.
He did not.
He just showed up one day.
He just showed up and took it that night. And before he was even down the road, I called him and asked him what's going on.
Okay.
And
so
he said,
well, and $500 in cash is not nothing. So we're at 3,800. But let me talk to him for a second here.
Okay.
I understand this. This is pretty straightforward. Didn't pay any rent, didn't pay any bills, things like that. Property stolen from house while she was there. So she's only there for a month and a half. You had $7,000 in cash stolen?
Yep. She knew where my money was because she borrowed $2,000 from me for a boat trailer, and I had it in a bank envelope upstairs. And she had paid back that $2,000. And I come home, I was gonna stick another $500 with it, and it was gone.
So what did you do about
And then
that?
I asked her about it, and they act like it was no big deal. Her and her friend Nancy that was there, and said, I don't know what happened to it. But yet they threw my stuff out of my bedroom into another bedroom.
Yeah, but here's my question, right? So you let this person move in with you. They steal $5,000 in cash. Well, they borrowed $7,000, but you said they paid it back. So $7,000 in cash. They told you it was no big deal, and then that's the end of the story for you? You just accepted that they didn't know what happened and you moved on?
What else could I do?
You call the cops to make a report for your homeowner's insurance that somebody robbed you of $7,000 cash. And if I thought my girlfriend and her friend robbed me of $7,000 cash, she'd be out of the house that night. That doesn't make sense.
You can't just kick somebody out of your house that night in Michigan.
oh, well, you did.
Well, but are you telling me that was the, let's call it the linchpin of why she stopped living there? It doesn't sound like you guys were ever getting.
No, the reason why she stopped living there was because she was screaming in my daughter's face, and my daughter found her friend's drugs in my medicine cabinet in the bathroom on a plate with a razor blade and a straw.
All right. When is that?
That's why she is.
That's the reason why you said you got to go.
Yep.
When is that in time to when you lost $7,000 somewhere in this house?
About 2 weeks before this. Or that happened 2 weeks prior to me losing $7,000. I worked out of town, and every time I came home, something else was missing.
All right.
She had multiple people in my house that weren't supposed to be in my house. Her friend Nancy and a drug addict, and when he came over, stuff walked out.
Well, all right. So in other words, you don't have problems with things missing from your house. Miss Paulson moves in, her friends are around. There's problems with things missing from the house. You have an incident with the drugs. You're like, all right, this is it. You're out. And then I'm assuming when Miss Paulson left, you stopped having things missing from your house?
Yep.
All right. What about this damage to vehicles here? What about this Jeep? It looks like it's almost $4,000.
She drove my 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee, ran a 4-way stop sign, hit another car, and she told me just give her time, she'd get it fixed, and it just never happened. Well, now we're no longer together, and I haven't got it fixed yet.
All right, so let's just pause there. So it's your Jeep, but she was driving it. She had an accident, and she said, I'm sorry about the accident. I'll pay you back whatever that costs.
Yep.
All right, Ms. Paulson, let's talk about that. Does that sound right to you?
No, it does not. I was paying him to be on his insurance. He did not want to make an insurance claim. He had full coverage because he was still making payments on the vehicle.
Well, ma'am, do you have your own insurance or he
and
had
I
the
had
insurance?
my own insurance, and I was paying to be on his insurance also through State Farm. I was through Ken Bleecker in Martin at the time, and he could have turned it into his insurance company. And later on, I joined State Farm. And then
Well, but here's what I don't understand, right? When you're driving the car, it's either that you are insured as a driver, or the driver or the owner of the automobile has the car insured. Were you insured as a driver when you were driving?
Yes, I had to pay $300 to be added onto his insurance to have that vehicle out at my house because
Mr.
he was
Barnes,
making
why
payments.
aren't you just going to make a claim for this accident?
Well, first of all, she only gave me $300 one time. She didn't pay me anymore.
Yeah,
and then I took her off of
I
it.
don't even need to get into that. What I want to get into is you have this severely damaged Jeep, but you own insurance on it. You could make a claim, get it all fixed up.
Yep, and then it's held against you on your insurance, and then I pay more insurance every month. I have 5 vehicles. I cannot afford for my insurance to keep going up because of somebody else's accident.
Well, listen to me, and whether or not you make an insurance claim is always your discretion. I will tell you, doing this job for a very long time, if your damage is over about $1,500, it's probably worth making the claim because the dollar amount your insurance goes up will be less than $4,000. But anyway, ma'am, did you receive any moving violations for that accident?
I don't remember what it was. Failure to yield, I think it was.
Failure to yield. All right. But you understand that he could turn around and sue you for $4,000 for that, right? It's called a mini tort. Well, actually, he's capped at $3,000 in the state of Michigan, regardless of how much damage it is. But that's what I mean by we could sit here and go back and forth
so
for
many
2
years.
hours.
He only has so many years to do that. I talked to the insurance company. 3 years.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I thought the Jeep was from 2014. You mean the accident was in 2014?
Yeah, it was.
No,
it was 2018 or 19, I do believe.
All right. But no, ma'am, he can make a claim against you in small claims for years.
And he done that, and he didn't show up.
Are you talking about in front of Judge Scotchless?
Yes.
That's not small claims, man. You guys were in landlord-tenant. That's a different kind of court. See, here's the thing. I want to go back because I got some of these other cases I got to move on to. I'm not saying, I think there's plenty of things that Mr. Barney owes you money for. Things you didn't get back, things you got back damaged, things you did for him that were just nice things you're doing because you're the girlfriend, like things like driving his kid around, and that you may or may not have had any agreements for compensation, but could you make a fairness argument for compensation? Sure. I'm not saying any of those things are true. I'm just saying, looking through this, it's kind of the problem, like whenever there's a divorce or a boyfriend-girlfriend sort of bad breakup, there's millions of little things that when you're getting along, of course you'd never, whatever, that thing broke, we'll fix it. We'll buy something new together, the two of us or something. But when you no longer are getting along like that, everything turns into these nickel and dimes. I believe equally, there's just as many claims that Mr. Barney could make about things that he didn't ask you to pay, but of course, in fairness, you should have expected or could have been held accountable to pay. I think that you guys at the end of the day I'm glad that you sort of no longer have a connection, a landlord-tenant. You need to go your separate ways. But I do not think there's going to be any money claim one way or another between the two of you that wouldn't be canceled out by a money claim by the other party.
Can I say something?
Yes.
As far as this is Nancy, and he's talking about me being there, and I was there many, many times. And in regards to the $7,000 he had come up missing, I was there when he came home and this money showed up missing. We had hours. We spent hours upstairs looking for this so-called money that he said came up missing. He sat downstairs drinking a cup of coffee, and Kelly and I were like in tears because neither one of us had any idea what he was even talking about. He never once got up to even look anywhere. Never once even looked. I had no clue what we were even looking for. And then in regards to him saying my son is a thief, I'm sorry, but anytime my son would come over there, I would go to that door and open that door and walk him right back to that door. This is not in regards to my son. This is in regards to anything that was damaged by Mr. Barney, not my son.
Well, ma'am, here's the problem. I don't want to make a kid testify. We have a third party here, the daughter that I'm sure Ms. Paulson is familiar with, and I'm sure Mr.
I'm
Barney
very
knows who I'm
familiar
talking
with the
about.
daughter also. I was there.
Who
when
is a
she
third
got
party
into
that
the
talks
case as
about,
well.
yes, there's people coming and going in the house, and there's people doing drugs in the house, and there's people
I was
drinking in the
there.
house.
I was there when that happened,
A bunch of people.
but there was never a bunch of people in that house. Not when I was there.
Well, be careful now, ma'am, because if someone is cutting up medication, smashing it and snorting it, and you don't want to say it was them, and you're saying no one else was there but you and Kelly, that's not good
I'm
either.
sorry, but I have no idea what drugs we're even talking about.
All right. Well, what I mean is there was a third party talking about that, and it's really
Adderall.
I heard Mr. Barney talk about that.
It wasn't
don't know
Mr.
what he
Barney,
was
ma'am.
talking
There's a
about.
letter in my file from the daughter.
Yeah,
All right.
I've heard about that as well.
But what I'm saying is, mostly what is going on here is the long and slow and unpleasant unwinding of a relationship. And two people who are coming up with, whatever they can come up with to say that the other person is, bad or owes them money. But the problem is, I do not have enough evidence in front of me to make a clear money judgment for one party and not the other. It is what I would just call a big mess. I think that the debts and obligations here are pretty much cancel each other out. You may, in fact, have some criminal complaints you need to file. But as far as what I could do here in small claims, I would not make a judgment in this file. And so what I'm telling you is both parties, although I would say this to Mr. Barney too, because he did have a counterclaim. I wouldn't award any damages for the counterclaim either. Either one of you who disagrees with this finding can, within 7 days of today's date, request or ask to appeal this finding in front of the district court judges. But that means general civil court. General civil court means you would need to have an attorney to pursue that further. You could try to do without an attorney, but regular people are going to have a very difficult time. So you may want to consult someone before you decide whether or not you want to go to general civil, but you have every right to say, I don't agree with what just happened in there, and take it back in front of one of the district court judges. But you must officially do that in writing within 7 days of today's date. That window of opportunity to appeal this closed, then you're all set. I'm going to go ahead and release parties. Thank you.
No, I didn't call the insurance company. It was a joke.
There's someone on the